All right, guys. So, looking at today's and yesterday's transfer rumors, the players that have been associated and linked to Newcastle United, from the comments that I'm reading, has left fans underwhelmed. And this is because a lot of these names, a lot of these players are not known. They come from the Championship and they're unproven in the Premier League to a certain degree, to a certain extent. And people are wondering, are these players new? Needle movers? Are these guys ceiling raisers? Are they going to move the bar for us? And when I'm looking, and as I kind of got to look at these guys and these players in more depth, looking at their scouting reports, looking at some of their compilations, I'm seeing that Eddie Howe and the owners have a different idea to those fans who are looking for those ceiling raisers, for those glamorous names. And they're still, and that is that Eddie Howe, the owners, are looking to continue to raise the floor, raise the level of Newcastle United in terms of technical ability, depth, and just overall quality of our squad. And with that, also be able to get value for money. Also get players that are already culturally assimilated. Obviously, looking into the Championship, it's UK players, but also players that know about English football and are used to the fast-paced of the English football life. And so it's easier for them to assimilate into the squad. I'm going to look at some of these names. I'm going to look at how they could improve the team, and also how some of these floor raisers could actually eventually be ceiling raisers themselves. So let's get right into it. Let's not have any more delay. So as you guys can see from my screen, I'm looking at, and you'll see at the top also, we'll discuss Joelinton's contract and Paulo Maldini interviewing for the job. But looking at the players that have been on social media recently, we're looking at Crysencio Somerville, a forward who primarily plays left forward for Leeds United. He's doing absolute, he's one of the real kind of shining stars of the Championship at the moment. We've got Jonathon Rowe, who's also a forward, can play across the front three, but is mainly deployed on the left side as well. We're going to look at him. We're going to look at Archie Gray, young defensive midfielder, stroke centre midfielder from Leeds United as well. And I'm particularly interested and excited about Mr. Archie Gray myself. And last but by no means least, Mr. Morgan Whittikar, who plays on the right side, but can also play as a right wing forward, but can also play across the front three, as well as a left side of the midfield where Joelinton plays. He's got the same build as Joelinton, interestingly, as well, who's playing that. He plays at Plymouth Argyle. So all very exciting players, all of them are filled with potential in my view. And in essence, we're going to look at them a little bit closer, starting off with Mr. Crysencio Somerville. So let me share a clip of him, and while I share a clip of him, I will talk you guys through Mr. Crysencio Somerville. Obviously, he has played in the Premier League before. Obviously, had shown real promise. People remember some of his skills, some of his ability, some of his assists and goals while he was in the Premier League. So let's show him off and let's talk through him a little bit. So he plays obviously left wing forward for Leeds United. And let me put this on. Where can I find him? Right, here we go. So he plays for left wing forward for Leeds United. Is known for his in particular, so you guys can see there's an inside forward, get into that byline and just stretching defenders, ability, strength, athleticism on him, as you guys can see. Also, he's really well known for his decisiveness in the final third, and he really is the catalyst for his going forward for Leeds United. There are a number of a number of clubs that are looking at him and have identified him as a potential for them as well, no less than Bayern Munich. And so he has, what has he done this year? Let me look at him. This year, for instance, in the championship, 38 appearances, 17 goals, 8 assists. So that's 25 goal contributions. Absolutely fantastic. Obviously, him playing on the left wing, you're thinking Barnes is there. You're thinking there's potentially Elliot Anderson can play there, Joelinton mainly as well. But again, we're talking about those floor raisers. We're talking about those, and obviously Gordon. I think Gordon shifts to the right next year, to be honest. We're talking about those floor raisers. We're talking about technical ability. And I think Crysencio Somerville fits that role. But there is a lot of competition for Somerville. Like I said, Bayern Munich were mentioned when I've read the transfer rumors. I think Liverpool were as well. So there's a lot of eyes on Crysencio. He has played for Netherlands at all levels, but he hasn't yet played for Netherlands at the first team level. I think that is inevitable for him. He will be there. Next up is Mr. Jonathon Rowe. Jonathon Rowe. Let me put Mr. Jonathon Rowe's clip up as well. I don't want to say the same, but similar-ish, very attributes to Mr. Somerville. Come on, let me get this on for you guys. Let me get this clip on for you guys. Jonathon Rowe. Here we go. Jonathon Rowe, just to say, plays for Norwich City. Is also he's currently suffering from a hamstring injury. So he's made 28 appearances in the championship, 12 goals, 2 assists. So that's a 14 goal contribution. He's doing really well. Play left wing forward as well as right wing forward, but also as an attacking midfield. So again, a lot of variety and utility there for him, and we know how valuable that is to Mr. Howe. So let's take us through this clip of what Mr. Jonathon Rowe can do, and go through with you guys. Let me get that on. Where art thou, Mr. Rowe? Here we go. All right. So let me just rewind this part. This is one key play. So again, he's very good at dropping in the half spaces as well. Where you see him picking up the ball here, I'll pause it. So he's not right on your byline there. He's coming from in deep, from the midfield there, and he's picked up the ball whilst running again on the half space there. Sees the defender, looks him up, checks him up, shift that shoulder. That's the other thing they wanted to say, that he's very good at running at pace and shifting gears, as well as shifting his body, which throws players out balance, and that's one of his key attributes. Pass 1-2 there, fantastic. And if anything, these are the kind of inverted forwards that Howe is looking at. I know that not everybody is a fan of inverted forwards. They want a traditional wingers. For instance, if you're going to have a right-footed player, put him on the right wing. But these are the kind of advantages you get from playing inverted forwards. Not only can they, especially if they unlike Mr. Miguel Almiron, they use their left foot. Then what you can get is a player that can not only cross, but has the option of either taking on the player by the byline or into the area, could pass it across, cutbacks, or shoot themselves into the goal. And these are the advantages that Eddie Howe is looking at when he's looking at these players. So that's Jonathon Rowe. Again, just like Mr. Crysencio, Jonathon Rowe is England under 21s recently. So again, showing you the pedigree and the quality that that Eddie Howe and his staff are looking at, and he is looking like quality himself. And he is the highest price tag I've seen for him is 50 million, though transfer.com value him at £5 million. So again, value for money there. I think Crysencio Somerville will be a lot more expensive. I forgot to look at his price tag. What have I got? Crysencio Somerville. He's between 80 and 25 million, Crysencio Somerville. So again, value for money for what you're getting for these guys. Right, so next up, again, like I said, my favorite at the moment, Mr. Archie Gray. So let me put a clip up of Mr. Archie Gray for you guys. Here we go. Let's get him on. Stop sharing that. Share this instead. Archie Gray. So Archie Gray, Archie Gray. Here we go. So Archie Gray. He is, first of all, I want to say for Mr. Archie Gray, I want to say bloodline. And so when I say bloodline, Archie Gray is the 4th generation of his family to be playing for Leeds United. His father played for Leeds United. His great-grandfather played for Leeds United, and his uncle played for Leeds United. And all of them, in their own right, are legends for Leeds United. So he is 4th generation Gray playing for Leeds United. It's absolutely astonishing to have that in a family. Archie Gray himself is 18 years of age. He's pretty much represented England at all levels. Let me just look him. When did he start? From under 15s, he started representing England. He can play defensive mid, centre midfield. But when you look at the scouting reports, and I'm going to show you guys some of the links to the scouting reports I've been using. Fantastic guys. Archie Gray is an all-round midfielder. Can play in 6, 8, and 10s. He's press resistant. He can take the ball, and I'll show you guys this clip. This is why I think Eddie Howe's taken him on. And there's actually a clip of him playing against Chelsea this year, where he's taken the ball in his own half, back to goal, skip past, I think, a couple of Chelsea players before laying the ball off. Who does that remind you of within our team? I think that's Bruno Gomes. He's 18 years, so that's just exceptional play attributes that he has. He's also now playing for the England under-21s at 18 years of age. He's played this year in the Championship. He's played 39 appearances with 1 goal and 2 assists. He's been absolutely fantastic for them. He's currently valued by transferwindow.com at 16 million euros, which is about 13.7 million pounds. However, I've read the Yorkshire Evening Post, and it's been made very clear to them that the club value him at 40 million pounds. That's 40 million pounds for Mr. Archie Gray. And you might call me crazy, and I've only seen a very limited of him. I think he may be worth the money. So let's show the clips. Let's play the clip and explain why Mr. Archie Gray, at the age of 18 years, is possibly value for money. Remember, he's 18 years old. If Newcastle get 5 to 8 to 10 years out of him, that 40 million is going to look like real value for money. So here we go. This is Archie Gray. Let's just talk through it. So this is him. This is him taking back. This is him taking the ball from the keeper back to goal. The only player on our team that can do that currently, can do this move right here currently, is Bruno Gomes. There's nobody else in our team that can do this currently playing for our team to this extent and can lure players onto him and pass the press. Pass one. That was absolutely fantastic. Playing in close spaces, laying it off, short passes, dribbling pass 1, 2, laying it off, picking off attacks and attacking third as well. Absolutely fantastic. He's 18 years of age, guys, and he is playing again, no problem. Pass 1, pass 2. He's absolutely exceptional. And you guys will see later on that imagine him, this young player, playing next to Lewis Miley. Now, the main sticking point for folks is they're thinking 40 million for an 18-year-old. Guys, check him out. Honestly, I hope Newcastle can get him for 35 million, 30 million, but I think there's going to be some serious level of competition for Archie Gray this transfer window, especially if it becomes available, especially if Leeds don't qualify or get promoted. there's going to be some serious competition for Archie Gray, for the fact that he can take the ball back to goal, can take it on the run, can play, can pass. He's got an exceptional passing range. I haven't got to show you this, guys. Let me see if this clip has got any more of it. But he's got an exceptional passing range. That's him taking the ball on. Oh, I wonder if we're going to see that again. Holding players off. This is an international level. Striking ability, passing ability. I don't know when the next one will be, but look at this for a strike. Bang. So Archie Gray is currently valued at 40 million, comes from an incredible pedigree of football players in his family and in his household. And I think he would be the key. He will be the one of the, I want to say, marquee signing, and people might not like that, but I think this kid has got it all. The final person I want to show, if I get the chance to, is Morgan Whittikar. Now, I can't get clips of him for the sake of time, but I will explain a little bit about him. Let me stop sharing that. Let me get him on the screen. Where are you, Mr. Morgan Whittikar? Morgan Whittikar. Yes, here we go. So Morgan Whittikar, again, a 23 years old and a good player. It stands at 1.3 meters. There's a lot of things that he does need to improve around defensive contributions, working harder out of control when he's not in possession of the ball. But he is very, very good in tight spaces, as you guys can see from this report. He's also, let me get back on it. Here we go. He's also good places under pressure, style of play, cutting in from the right, able to create chances for his teammates, excellent ball carry. When you guys see him carrying the ball, for me, it reminds me of Joelinton, but he's absolutely fantastic with it. Great passing range as well when he gets on it. And again, it says here right wing in a 4-2-3-1 formation. And this is going to, again, add to the last part of what I'm going to say to you guys. Literally, for all of these guys that I've mentioned, Crysencio Somerville, Jonathon Rowe, Morgan Whittikar, Archie Gray, in all of these scouting reports say that these guys are good in 4-2-3-1 formations. And if you guys remember, if any of you guys watched my series on Newcastle's transfer approach, and where I think Eddie Howe's how the style of play is going to evolve, all of it suggests that it's going to go towards 4-2-3-1. We're still going to be intensive, counter-pressing, but we're going to have a little bit more control. We're going to have a little bit more possession of the ball, and that's what the 4-2-3-1 formation gives us. Morgan Whittikar is worth £5 million currently, and from all the transfer rumors I've seen, it appears that nobody's willing to go above that. So for £5 million, I think he's worth a chance. See, at least if he can get past Jacob Murphy, he must be able to do that. So I think he's worth a try in able to progress Newcastle forward. So let me know what you guys think so far. Who's impressed you out of these guys so far? For me, Archie Gray and Jonathon Rowe. I think Somerville will probably go somewhere else. Let me get my screen up again to show these guys. But Archie Gray and Jonathon Rowe, for me, are really, really interesting signings, and I think will certainly add the depth, are certainly floor raisers in my opinion, and would improve everything that we do. Again, Somerville 18 to 25 million, Jonathon Rowe 5 to 15 million, and Mr. Archie Gray anywhere from 13 million to 40 million, 40, and Morgan Whittikar. So if you just take, for instance, Jonathon Rowe and Archie Gray at the max, 40 million, 15 million, add that together is 55 million to continue to raise the floor. This is how expensive it is. So these are the guys I'm gonna, and this is how this is how it would look, for instance, for the front three So from the front three, obviously Jonathon Rowe and having Morgan Whittikar, you'd have Barnes, Isak and Gordon up front. You'd have Jonathon Rowe and possibly Somerville on that side, probably competing with Joelinton. On the other side, you'd have Whittikar and possibly Minte if he stays, if he doesn't get sent out back on loan again, competing with Anthony Gordon. And then the screen next to that, obviously you guys can see our midfield as it is currently, with Joelinton, Gomeres and Tonali being probably our best midfield. You have Miley there competing with Longstaff, though I think Longstaff is going to be sold. I think Longstaff is the odd one out in this in terms of technical ability. You have, and being able to hold on to the ball, Anderson, Gomeres, Tonali, Joelinton, Archie Gray, Louis Miley are all excellent for that. Joe Willock obviously is also, especially with running, but mainly running with the ball. But when it comes to possession, back to goal, Archie Gray, Bruno Gomeres, and in tight spaces, Joelinton, Anderson, Miley, Tonali are all fantastic. And Sean Longstaff is the odd one out in that midfield, in my opinion. So if you just put Archie Gray as a young 18-year-old, together with Lewis Miley, you know you've got an opportunity to play for Newcastle. You've got opportunity to play regular football potentially as well. He's coming off of a season where he could be playing 40 games plus, and I'm sure he wouldn't want to be on the bench all this time. And if you progress that forward, like I said, to a 4-2-3-1, which is what I think. If you look at this, imagine this formation and these players at the start of the season. So Isak up front, and I've put a ghost essentially next to him, where I think there's a potential that we buy another striker of a different mold to Isak. Again, I've mentioned previously in our transfer window approach that it could be Eddie Nketiah, for instance, a different type of player to Isak. There's obviously been rumors around Benjamin Sesko, though his profile, we'll have to study it a little bit more, but some would say that his profile isn't too dissimilar to Isak. So I'll have to study that and see that. But whereas Eddie Nketiah is different, and if you can imagine Morgan Gibbs-White behind him in a 10 position, or having Isak in that 10 position and the main striker up front, will be interesting. Gordon on the right, Harvey Barnes, Jonathon Rowe competing with Joelinton, Whittikar competing with Gordon, and in our two players, two centre mids or DMs, probably centre mids, competing with Gomeres and Tonali, and having Archie Gray and Lewis Miley behind them. That would be really, really, really interesting. I think, though, there's a main gap in between that. If you think, these boys are so young, 17, 18-year-olds. So it's a real kind of, they're still really developing physically, though there's real kind of attributes there and skill-wise. I think you probably want someone in their 20s, early 20s, being able to play in that midfield with them and to have that technical ability. And that's where I think Morgan Gibbs-White becomes so important, or a player of his ability. Not only can he play across front three, but he can play anywhere in centre midfield. And I watched a game with him playing against Spurs, Tottenham, and he looked like attacking mid, stroke centre mid. It was absolutely fantastic in that as well. So if Gomeres is not available, or Tonali aren't available, Morgan Gibbs-White can step in there, or he can partner up with Archie Gray himself, with Archie Gray or Lewis Miley, to make sure there's an experienced hand next to him. Next to them, Isak can drop in that 10 role, or you have someone like Barnes maybe going into that 10 role. Gordon is so much flexibility and fluidity that's there available, that you can now see the value in having players, obviously, that can play in multiple positions in there, and adds a lot more value. But also the general floor of our squad is raised. Obviously, you guys can see from previous, for our defense as well, I've got Lloyd Kelly there, I've got Malik Thal there as people that could be added, as well as Mamash Dashvili, or possibly Ramsdale. That could possibly be added to that. But I think looking at that, you can see why Eddie Howe, the owners, are looking at the championship, are looking at the young players that are there of really high pedigree. They're ready to take that next step into the Premier League. A lot of these guys are looked at: Jonathon Rowe, Archie Gray, all these guys, Premier League clubs, clubs from Italy are already looking at these guys, and I think where Newcastle are, these players would absolutely love to play for Newcastle, in my humble opinion. Finally, obviously, we know Mr. Joelinton is soon to sign his a 4-year contract with Newcastle United. This is brilliant news. Hopefully an indicator that Bruno Guimaraes is staying. But having Joelinton there, hopefully our future captain, is absolutely imperative. As we're still trying to raise the floor, it's important our core players like Joelinton do not leave. They are so important, especially when we're getting more players that are possession play type of players, like hopefully like Archie Gray and others. You need your Joelintons, you need those midfield enforcers next to them who can protect them and allow them to to showcase their skills even more, because they got those midfield enforcers next to them. It's fantastic news about Joelinton. I've left Mr. Maldini there. It'll be really interesting to have, if we have Mr. Maldini join us as director of football. I don't think he'll be by himself. I think because of his experience, yes, obviously exceptional player, World Cup winner, all these things, but still technically, still experience-wise, as a director of football, very, very young. Even when he was at AC Milan, he was a technical director. He was surrounded by other technical directors who covered other aspects of the club. He was very much kind of focused in on the recruitment side of things for young players as well. But you can imagine the gravitas he adds. If you're a young defender, say you're a Branthwaite who's probably going to sign for Man United and those kind of clubs. If you hear that Mr. Paulo Maldini is on the phone calling from Newcastle, you might really want to sign for Man United, but you're not going to say no to that phone call. And I think that's what Maldini could add as well. The fact that you've got lots of young players like Tonali, Rafael Leao speaking very, very highly of Paulo Maldini also indicates to me that he's very much been involved at a grassroots level there at Milan and is highly, highly regarded. It'll be fantastic to have him. So it'll be interesting if we get him on board with us. So in conclusion, guys, yes, Newcastle United are looking into the Championship, but just from the players that we looked at, Mr. Somerville, Mr. Rowe, Archie Gray, Morgan Whittikar, there's a lot of undiscovered talent that is there. Well, it's been discovered by our rival clubs. And I think when we hear these names, it's important to check out the scouting reports. It's important to look at the potential of these guys and where they're coming from. These guys, a lot of them are playing for England, have played for Holland, for instance, in the under-20s. In the case of Somerville, they have a fantastic, fantastic potential. I've been reading scouting reports from a gentleman called Anthony Scouts. He's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to, that's Anthony Onifide. I'm going to put his link up for you guys to look at as well. Do check him out. He's brilliant. But also there's another gentleman called, I want to say something, Panos, as well as Youth Scouting. I'll put him up for you guys. Guys, check these guys out. I think if we can get an Archie Gray, if we can get a Jonathon Rowe together with the other players that I mentioned, with the directors, I think this process of raising the floor for Newcastle United is very much near completion. And the team is growing, the technical ability of the team is growing, but there's so much more work to do. But let me know what you guys think. Are there any other names that we should be looking at, player-wise, director-wise? Maybe some of you aren't happy with the manager, maybe manager-wise. Do let me know. Share your comments. And until next time, guys, take care and God bless.